tiny details nobody noticed in Minions and Despicable Me. The Minions are one of the most loved animated films, and obviously, among the various films they have, there are bound to be details that you must have missed. So, we have gathered all the Easter eggs that we could find. Like at number 1, Minions and Gru's daughters. All of the Minions are a rather similar species, which makes it difficult to design unique heroes for the movie. To get around this, the three major characters in the film have different physical characteristics. Bob is short and stocky, Stuart is a standard minion size with one eye, and Kevin is tall and slender. The gang's varied appearances serve a more functional purpose than just being unique. Margot, Edith, and Agnes, who are Gru's adopted daughters from Despicable Me, are exactly like them. The Tower Guard is reminiscent of Dr. Nefario, and several female characters have elements of Scarlet Overkill. However, there's just too much stylistic similarity between the two main characters for this to be coincidental. Although all three minions share a lot of the same goofiness, they all have characteristics that are similar to those of their human counterparts. This is because Illumination's animation style naturally produces characters with similar design.
So much fun. It's a crime.
Oh, VillainCon, Orlando!
Number 2. Sing. There are a few allusions to Sing, another recent film by Illumination, in Despicable Me 3. The most evident occurs when the Minions break into a Los Angeles Hollywood studio production lot and unintentionally find themselves on the set of the talent competition, Sing. That's not all though. Several of the pigs raised by Gru's new sibling, Drew, resemble the swine in Sing, and the character Tattoo from Illumination's The Secret Life of Pets. Drew, likewise, gets his living from rearing pigs. There's clearly some business synergy at work here, as seen by the fact that Tattoo also has a unicorn tattoo, which is tied to Despicable Me and represents Agnes's favorite animal.
Pito patamilo milata katiki puletica, c'est pas la joie des mitocala namule macarena. Paoletus pabo patimele, c'est pas macagusta mamile belle, mais la moustache et la picamucha.
Number 3. Finally a Name You Can Trust. The Finally a Name You Can Trust campaign poster for presidential candidate Richard Nixon greets the three Minions as they arrive in New York for the 2015 Minions film. A clear jab at all his behind-the-scenes schemes, this is a for the parents joke. It's surprising the Minions didn't work for him, but this one has a ring of reality to it. Unlike some of the other period jokes in the movie, such as Stewart imitating Van Halen 10 years early, and the US government faking the moon landings a year ahead of time. Number 4. References to some TV shows. The Minions watch TV while they are sulking around in New York, which results in some peculiar cameos. While viewing the Woody Woodpecker short Three Little Woodpeckers, the group occasionally flips between channels to catch tidbits from the more modern Dragon Tales and The Big Comfy Couch. Why were these particular clips picked? Well, Dragon Tales and Couch, which the producers undoubtedly included for emotional reasons, are both public service television programs, so their licensing expenses were probably negligible. On the other hand, Woody Woodpecker is owned by Universal, the studio that produced Minions Illumination, so it was free to use in any manner. Number 5. The 80s. The target audience for Despicable Me 3 wasn't even born in the 1980s, but some of their parents were. This group should experience plenty of nostalgic flashbacks, as the film's villain, Balthazar Bratt, was a child star on an action TV series in the 1980s, before puberty ended his acting career. We are introduced to so many artifacts from the past via Balthazar that it becomes difficult to keep up. First, he refers to his team of deadly robot dolls as the Brat Pack, a clear allusion to the actual gang of teenage Hollywood stars known as the Brat Pack in the 1980s. Furthermore, his show appears to be a cross between the television series Small and the film War Games. Then, there are his numerous references to Michael Jackson in terms of dance, fashion, music, like the moonwalk and the use of Bad as pump music, his spandex workout, to Olivia Newton-John's Physical, his old neon MTV sign in his bedroom, a handheld Simon game on his floor, and, of course, his obsession with blowing enormous gum bubbles from pink blocks that resemble bubble yum.
I've been a bad boy!
Number 6. VillainCon. VillainCon is unmistakably a sinister take on the traditional expo, with business people and casual visitors alike circling different vendors in an attempt to raise exposure of their products. However, it does have a clear connection with one very well-known convention, the San Diego Comic-Con. In addition to emphasizing emotive eyes in both logos, Hall H is the location of the primary attraction, Scarlet Overkill's talk in the movie, The real world's big film studios, like Marvel, DC, and others, have their panels in Hall H, where they unveil movie trailers and star interviews. It's essentially the same thing. Number 7. Minions language. The minions speaking gibberish is one of the things that makes them appealing. It's kind of like English, but it's followable enough. In other words, kind of ridiculous. Not quite. Their language is actually far more advanced than it looks. It's really difficult to discern because there are so many different languages spoken. Even though a lot of what they say through the goofy accents makes sense in some of them, their thank yous and pleasantries are taken straight out of other languages. And miam miam, which a prehistoric minion uses to describe a banana, is actually the French translation of yummy, and not some ridiculous parody of yum yum. This not only offers a range of linguistic humor, but it also makes sense in the context of the film. The minions have traveled the globe in quest of their master and have undoubtedly picked up some diverse dialects. Number 8. Sword in Stone. The Arthurian tale is obviously referenced in Bob's transformation into king after taking the sword in the stone, and the sword depicted here resembles the one in the 1963 Disney picture. The sword's similarity to the one that belonged to the minion's former lord is not its only impressive feature. The third trailer contains a scene that explains why. During the medieval ages, they unintentionally stabbed their former master, a king, with a sword that has the same jeweled hilt as the one in the stone. It's probable that the vignette was trimmed to hide the similarities between the designs of the swords from the past and the near present. That would imply that King Arthur was, after all, a villain.
Child, give me that back.
Number 9. Mozart reference. One thing you definitely don't expect to see in a Minions movie is a constant allusion to a Mozart opera, but that's precisely what you get. There are several references to the magic flute in the scenes that include the fire hydrants. At the end of the movie, when Kevin is blowing out the fuse, he whistles the opening of Der Vogelfänger, Bin ich ja, a song from early in the opera. Stewart refers to the yellow hydrant he loves so much that he calls it Papagena when he first arrives in New York, but the latter also functions as a joke about urinating, which balances out such lofty culture.
Hey, sawatika, Orlando? Oh, hello, Papagena. Tu le pera con la papaya.
Number 10. Gru's mother. In the last 5 minutes of the Minions 2015, Gru, the protagonist of Despicable Me, reveals himself by completing the overkill plot and stealing the Queen's crown, while also freezing Scarlet and Herb. The villain is quickly chosen by the Minions as their new leader, and they go out on a plethora of exciting new adventures. But in the last scene, which plays over the beginning of the end credits, Gru isn't the only Despicable Me character. When Marlena Gru's painting gets vandalized by the Minions near the end, her son becomes involved as well. Then, the woman herself appears. Number 11. A tiny detail. Gru's G insignia appears on the overalls of every Minions character in the Despicable Me series. Since he's not yet their leader, it's not present in the Minions prequel as well. Number 12. Movie references. At the end of the Despicable Me 3, Balthazar Brat channels a number of classic monster movie moments as he fulfills his dream of building a massive robotic replica of himself to take over Los Angeles, much like he had done in an episode of his former program. The ascent of Robo Brat from the ocean is a clear allusion to Godzilla's favorite entry point into any scene of destruction. Furthermore, there's a blatant allusion to King Kong's treatment of Ann Darrow in the scene where the robot picks up Gru's children and holds them up against a building to observe the carnage. And these were the tiny details we found to show you what you missed in the Minions. Comment down below if you know of any tiny little detail that we missed out on. And as always, hit the like button, subscribe, and click on one of the videos popping up to see more interesting stuff. And we'll see you in the next video.